In today's video, we are going to talk about ways to build trust within teams. This video especially is going to be useful for organizations which are driven by owners and going through a transition to become a more professionally driven organization. The reason we talk so much about trust is because this is an important component of business success and yet something which is not so easy to achieve within companies. What is trust? It is simply a place where people do their part of the job without any kind of supervision or follow-ups. Now, when I say that do their jobs, get the work done, it simply means that people not only tick mark into the activities that they have to do, but they're able to understand the repercussions or the impact of their work on others, and they're able to produce the output which is useful for the organization. And you know that trust exists in such teams. Now, so it's very easy to understand that trust is not about whether somebody has good intent, bad intent. It is not about whether somebody is able to befriend their colleagues, somebody is good at networking. It is not about somebody being a good human being or not. Trust, simply put, is an outcome. One has to perform a series of action and activity with a lot of consistency to develop trust in any form of relationship, whether it is at your workplace or in your personal life. We see that especially in organizations where there is a transformation that is happening, where first generation or second generation entrepreneurs are going to a place where they want to manage things more professionally, and there is influx of talent from various organizations which are corporatized, which are professional. There is where we see trust deficit a lot. Trust deficit happens in such organization because people are essentially confused. Do they need to be liked by their founders, their owners, or do they need to provide their transparent thought and information? What is the consequence of either of the ways? And this confusion is percolated down in the team, and pockets of mistrust is easily visible. The symptoms are people would not want to take decisions. People would avoid making decisions. Accountability goes missing. You see people blaming each other without clarity on who is doing what. There is not a lot of role clarity either. And over a period of time, this results into having real difficult time for organization to get right talent and to retain them within the system. When this crisis hits the roof, then organizations reach out to people like me to bring in solutions. Well, the solution lies pretty much within the organization. Trust is not something that can be taught. Trust is not something which can be fed and pushed and built. It is a direct result of environment within a company, within an organization. An environment is built by leaders, period. It cannot be built by anybody else. It is always top down. So when leaders are able to build trusting, safe environment, that is what is reflected in most part of the organization. So it is the founders, owners, management, directors, whichever is applicable for you. It is this team's, this leadership's role to ensure there is safe environment within the organization. Now, what is environment? Environment is not what happens with me, but also what happens around me, because we do get impacted by others' emotion. So when people see a safe environment, they're able to trust, they're able to produce better results, and vice versa. For example, when you say open door policy, yet when there is somebody who's providing a different perspective, you do not like the idea, your body language says it all. So people say, oh, this guy did not like it. Let me take a step back, and trust is broken immediately. You cannot say that, be candid, be accountable, accept, Yet when somebody does that, when something goes wrong, you shout at them to an extent that the person is humiliated. Why would that person trust you again to take accountability and come forward with their thoughts, ideas, or even their mistake? Trust is completely broken. And this can spread like a wildfire across the organization. And we see mistrust in various layers once again. So what is the solution? First, use logic. Logic can be a very powerful tool. So the next time you know that the suggestion that came from your team would not work, instead of saying that, or instead of rejecting the idea, give them your logic behind it. Give them evidence why you feel it would not work, and let them come to the conclusion that whether to move ahead with the project or not, or the thought or not. So talk about situations you have witnessed before. Talk about your ideas. Talk about previously whatever has happened. A step further can be, instead of you sharing evidence, you sharing logic, ask questions around your concern. For example, if this situation occurs, what is your plan of handling it? If this is what the point of view of people are in this region, how would you react, respond to it? So ask questions so that people are pushed to think. People may not like your idea, but people would trust your logic. When your team sees logic, it is easier for them to understand you as a professional. It is not about an owner imposing their thoughts. It is about somebody presenting their logic of a situation. Another component of building trust is empathy. Now, empathy is time consuming. A shortcut of building empathy is by reducing distraction in conversations. Pick a person where you know trust needs to be built at this level. And in every conversation you have with that person, reduce distraction. Distraction can be technology, your phone, your tab, your landline even. Distraction can be you being somewhere else mentally while you are talking to the person. And distraction can be you imposing your thoughts on the person while that person is trying to talk about his issues or her issues or thoughts or ideas, whatever it is. Do not impose your ideas on that person. That can be a huge distraction. Listening deeply and listening consistently can be, again, a very powerful tool to easily build empathy. And take inspired action if listening to the person has given you an idea or a feedback that has come up which is fairly easy for you to work on. So empathy, another way of building trust. The third way that you can use is to empower people with weapons. Weapons for your people are tools, technology, resources, education. In fast-growing organizations, especially organizations which are very entrepreneurial in nature, very startup-like organizations, there things move very fast. People with great performance and high potential are promoted and given more responsibilities that they can handle. When you realize that you have promoted people with great potential, but they still may not be quite capable to handle the position and the ambiguity of the position that they are at. In such situations, it is important to educate those people, your managers, your leaders, so that they're able to perform and they do not struggle in that position. That education, that training would create a safe environment for your team. And the direct result would be trust, not only with your team members, but again, percolating down to various layers in the organization. So, to build trust using logic in conversation, empathy, and empowering with education, these three things can work amazingly well to have a very trusting, safe environment within the organization. But do remember, building trust is consistent effort. It is not a one-time activity. It is hard work. But when done regularly and done with a lot of focus, the transition can happen faster. I hope this helped you, and I'll be back again with content that would help you strengthen your leadership skills and you become a stronger leader. Thank you so much.